Hello, everyone. Hello. Wow. Hello. Wow. Nice to meet you. Someone in the crowd just said I am pretty. I really love being told that I'm pretty. Thank you so much. Now let me introduce myself. I am Soo-young Kim, a pleasure-seeking nomad who lives by challenging 83 dreams on the stage called Earth. Nice to meet you. If that introduction feels too long, you can just call me the Dreaming Nomad. Or if that sounds a bit awkward, it's also fine to call me Pretty Soo-young. What do you call me? Pretty Soo-young. Oh, you seem to really like that. Are you from the military or something? You really seem to like it. But today, Pretty Soo-young is here to encourage you all with the message, don't be scared, go for it. And the idea that everything will work out. I currently have 83 dreams. 7 years ago, when I listed everything I wanted to achieve before I died, there were 73 at that time. But as time passed and I kept updating my dreams, 10 more were added, so now I have 83 dreams. Over the past 7 years, I've traveled to 70 countries and taken on 46 of those dreams. And among them, we're standing on a musical stage, climbing Kilimanjaro, writing a book, and even appearing in Indian movies twice. I really challenged myself to achieve many dreams. So many people might think that I'm an outstanding person, but actually, that's not the case. It's not that I just didn't overthink things and simply went for it. But even though many people have dreams, the part they worry about the most is, what if I try this and fail? What if it doesn't go well? Or what if I end up homeless because I tried this? I'm sure there are a lot of worries like that, and honestly, I also struggled with a lot of concerns and inner conflicts. But after overcoming them and taking on challenges one by one, the conclusion I reached was it's actually okay to do this. I realized that, in fact, we have far more abilities than we think we do. But even so, honestly, I still worry at every moment. So the very first thing I worried about was my family. 7 years ago, when I quit my successful job to pursue my dream and go to the UK, I was really worried about my parents. It's because my family was struggling financially. Even while I was in college, I covered my tuition with scholarships and dozens of part time jobs. I not only paid for my own living expenses, but also regularly gave my parents money. But after I got a job, my parents naturally thought I would support them. So when I said I was leaving to pursue my dream, they were really upset about it. Of course, it's only natural for them to feel that way. So that part was really painful for me as well. But this is what I said to them. I told my mom and dad, let me achieve my dream first, and then I'll help you achieve yours too. And I asked them to wait just a little longer. Because honestly, I believe that only when I am happy myself, when my own happiness is fulfilled and overflowing, I can share it with others. But if I try to fill up someone else's before I myself am fulfilled, then there's nothing left for me and I end up feeling empty. So, with conviction, I left for the UK. And as I achieved my dreams one by one, I never forgot about my parents' dreams either. So, one of the promises I made was to buy my father a house. To make that happen, I not only worked at my company, but also took on side jobs. And for 3 years, I worked incredibly hard. So when I bought my father a house, the man who used to say, don't bite off more than you can chew, now said, I believe in miracles. And of course, I had to fulfill my mother's dream as well. So to make my mother's dream come true, we went on a 2-week pilgrimage trip to Europe. At that time, as I took my mother around here and there, I felt very fulfilled, but it was also really exhausting. I had lived alone for over 10 years, but suddenly I was taking care of my parents, acting as their guide, driver, interpreter, and pretty much their babysitter. Since I had to take care of everything, after my parents went back, I couldn't get out of bed for a week. But even though it was so hard, seeing just how incredibly happy they all were and watching their dreams come true truly made it all worthwhile. And I thought, I really truly made the right choice. And honestly, what I was most worried about was what would happen if I couldn't support my parents for a period of time? What if things got unbearably hard? Or what if they ended up starving to death? I worried about all sorts of things, but in the end, they didn't starve. So, as it turns out, there really is no such thing as a person being destined to die just like that. Things worked out without any major problems. Everyone just manages to get by. Even if they don't have money, they find a way to eat and live. So, unless someone is a parent or their child is seriously ill, disabled, or very young, people are generally able to take care of themselves. If someone couldn't do that, then there's something wrong with them. And if there is a relationship based on dependence, both people end up unhappy. But if you have to give up your own dreams to take care of someone else, there's nothing more miserable than that. You end up resenting that person for a while. So don't worry. Everyone will end up taking care of their own share. So stop using your family as an excuse and start feeling your own dreams and your own happiness one by one. And secondly, a lot of people ask this question: isn't it dangerous for a woman to travel alone? That's a question I get asked a lot. Honestly, even for someone as beautiful as Soo-young, of course people would worry. I used to worry about all sorts of things, like what if someone tries to hurt me or kidnap me when I go around like this, but no one ever did. No one ever tried to hurt me. So as I traveled around, one of the things I realized is that half of the people living in this world are women. And no matter how dangerous a place is, there are women living there. As a woman, I was able to communicate with many women and men, and I was able to build even closer and more numerous friendships. So by sharing and connecting with even more people, I was able to grow even further. And in fact, during my travels to 70 countries, there was only one time when I actually felt in real danger, and that was in Cambodia. I was sightseeing on a motorcycle, and it seems the motorcycle driver misunderstood something. He suggested that we go to his house and live together. So I said, "What are you talking about?" I told him I wanted to go back to my hotel, to go there quickly, and told him to take me there. But instead, he kept driving around the city in circles. All sorts of thoughts ran through my mind. I even thought about jumping out right there. But back in middle school, I got into a fight 17-1 and got beaten up. That's how my face ended up like this. And I really didn't want to mess up my face again. So I decided to come up with an idea. I said, all right, let's go to your place. But shouldn't I at least pack my things before we go? Let's go to the hotel. I'll grab my stuff and we can go to your place. He seemed happy with that idea. So as soon as we got to the hotel, I called the police and that person ran away. So what I realized is that no matter where you go in the world, as long as you use common sense and stay cautious, you won't have any problems. Of course, there are things like natural disasters and unavoidable incidents, but those kinds of things don't just happen abroad. They can happen in Korea too. And if you're unlucky, they can happen anywhere. So everyone, from what I can see, none of us are so stunningly beautiful that we need to worry about someone snatching us up wherever we go. So don't worry, go out and explore as much as you want. It's totally fine. Yes, and now a lot of people have this kind of concern. If I take on this challenge after telling everyone about it and making a big deal, won't it be embarrassing if it doesn't work out? What if I end up just embarrassing myself for no reason? I think about that a lot. So honestly, since I tend to just go for things all the time, I do worry about whether I can really pull it off, but sometimes that fear of embarrassment actually makes me work even harder. Recently, over the course of a year, I traveled around the world interviewing 365 people about their dreams. And I worked on a project called Panorama of Dreams to inspire others about dreams by sharing these stories through a documentary, an exhibition, and a book. But while preparing for that, I also had a lot of worries myself. I said I would make a documentary, but in reality, I didn't know anything about video production. And I said I would hold an exhibition, but I had never done anything like that before. I didn't know anything, and when I went abroad, I wouldn't be able to speak the language. And most importantly, I didn't have any money. So I worried a lot about how I was going to do this. So honestly, I worried a lot, but still, you only live once, right? I decided to just go for it. So I started making detailed plans. I contacted various broadcasting stations, but everyone said, sorry, but since you're not a celebrity, we don't think the ratings will be good. Or they said, since it's a year-long project, it would be difficult for us. We've all gotten rejection emails like that. And when I looked into getting sponsorship, they also said, well, since the broadcast isn't confirmed yet, it's a bit difficult for us to do anything. I'm sorry. So I was getting closer and closer to the worst case scenario. So I thought, all right, then I'll try to work out the numbers with the money I've earned. And even if I do run out of money, I'll find a way to cover it. After thinking it through, I concluded that at least I wouldn't starve to death. So I decided to boldly go ahead and do it. But since it felt like such a waste to let all the hard work I put into planning go unused, I posted it on my blog, and someone told me about something called the Kibo King Fund. It's a kind of dream contest, and after competing with 1,500 people for 4 months, I ended up winning a prize of 100 million won. So with that 100 million won, I started actively promoting everywhere, and I even got invited to appear on TV. From the worst, it's not even the worst. from that intermediate stage, things started moving closer to the best case scenario again. And over the course of a year, I actually traveled to 25 countries to carry out the project. Of course, the process was not easy. There was even a time when the video director I had hired ran off with my money, and I also met a con artist, which led me to fall into depression and lose 5 kilograms. After that, I experienced a rebound and gained 10 kilograms back. And then there was another time when I was just passing by and dogs chased after me and attacked me, so my whole body was covered in bruises and injuries. Once I also got into a traffic accident with a cow. I was also pickpocketed, and I suffered from altitude sickness so badly that I was on the verge of death for 2 days. But even more than that, I had so many more diverse and wonderful experiences. Eventually, I came back with the stories of each and every one of those 365 precious people held close to my heart. So, although the rosy world I had imagined didn't exist, I encountered a world that was far more colorful and rainbow-like than I had ever expected. And now, I've actually turned those stories into a documentary. So, um, I'm not sure if any of you have seen SBS Special, but if you watch it, you'll see in the subtitles, filmed by Kim Soo-young, narration by Kim Soo-young. But I also appear in it as Kim Soo-young, yes. If you watch it, you'll see that everything I filmed over the past year, working hard with my camcorder, is all captured in there. Even though I knew nothing about broadcasting, I was able to air a documentary on a major network. Once I actually tried, I realized it was possible. And not only that, just as I had hoped, I was able to visit places like orphanages in Nepal and India, Palestinian refugee camps, and shelters for runaway youth in Thailand, meeting many people and sharing dreams with them. Through this, I realized that dreams are a universal hope that everyone longs for, and I think all of this was possible thanks to the help of many people. So once again, I became more confident in my own choices, and I think this is probably the thing that most people worry about the most. I have a dream, and I really want to pursue it, but to do that, I have to quit my job. Then people often worry, what if I end up broke and unemployed after trying this? Has anyone here ever had those kinds of worries? Yes, I think a lot of people have, but honestly, I'm also struggling with this concern right now. Because I too am about to quit my job. So I'm planning to leave a successful company in the UK and, without any concrete plans, start a business that's about sharing dreams. It's not even a business to make money, it's a business to share dreams. So, as the first project, from October 5th to 16th, I'm planning to hold a dream festival at Guro Art Valley. There's not much time left, but there's still a lot to prepare, and I haven't received any sponsorships yet. Um, I'm investing all the money myself, and while many volunteers are helping out enthusiastically, I still have a lot of worries. But I have something I can rely on. And what is that? It's myself. I know that there's no way I would let myself become a penniless homeless person. Is there anyone here who would let themselves end up like that? No one, right? You trust yourself, right? Even if things don't go as I planned, or even if I happen to fail at that time, I am confident that I can get back up again. Because throughout my life, I've challenged myself dozens, no, hundreds of times, running into obstacles, falling down, and failing. But every time I got back up and tried again, it worked out. Even though I know I'll go through a lot of trial and error in the future because I believe in myself, I'm going to keep moving forward without hesitation, even with the guts to say, what's the worst that could happen becoming homeless? And continue to pursue my projects one by one. Earlier, what did I ask you all to call me? I think your voices are a bit weak. One more time, pretty Soo-young. Ah, that's better. You know, if you keep calling me that, it almost makes me feel like I'm really pretty. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Actually, I used to have a lot of insecurities. I'm short and my body proportions aren't great. So, right now I'm wearing 12-centimeter heels. But back in middle school, I drank and smoked too much, so I didn't grow taller. On top of that, I have a big head. So, honestly, I was really self-conscious about my appearance. But as I started to challenge myself and achieve my dreams one by one, and as the world began to go my way, I couldn't help but see myself as beautiful. Since I'm so happy and I love my life so much, I feel beautiful. And that's why I keep trying to convince others of it too. I tell people to call me pretty Soo-young. And when they do, I really feel like I'm pretty in the same way. If you ever feel afraid, try saying to yourself, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Then before you know it, you'll really start to believe in it. Isn't that right? Yeah, anyways. All right, everyone. So, when you're about to take on a new challenge and you feel afraid, or you're worried that things might not go well, or you wonder what others will think of you, or when you're anxious about what your parents might say, this is what I want to tell you. Don't be scared, just go for it. It'll work out. Shall we all shout it out together one more time? Don't be scared. Go for it. It'll work out. So, since you and I both believe in ourselves, we'll be able to do well, right? Let's all not be afraid and just go for it together. Then things will turn out well. Let's both keep fighting, me and all of you. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you.